We got foreign entities, which is like the other way that you guys can access more funding and kind of bypass geographic locations. So here are the pros of a foreign entity is you can expand the geographic fundability for your business or the funding ability for your business. If you plan on selling products or services in another state, this is going to be a good look for you. And then third is you plan on hiring inside of another state. I want to give you guys both sides of the coin though. Here's the other thing. If your filing and record keeping sucks, this could get messy real fast. The reason for that is what I have listed all the way at the bottom. There's something known as nexus. Nexus means that your business has enough presence inside of another state for you to be what they consider engaged in business in that state, which means that you're going to also get taxed in that state. So when you're doing your research on which state, Rad nailed it earlier, where he said, hey, you may want to consider taking a look at states that don't have any type of state taxes, right? Because if I go and let's say I have 4 banks that I want to hit in Cali, and part of my business is e-com, and I say, you know what, let me go to Cali. Things are going pretty good. I hit 4 banks. I get $250,000 in funding. And I say, I can probably buy products out here for cheap or cheaper than what I maybe can out here in Florida. And maybe I can have like a small little distribution center. I can maybe hire like a small rep to maybe ship it out of a little warehouse. Congratulations, Irv. You've just now created something called Nexus, which has now become a taxable event, which means that I'm now going to have double tax. I'm going to be taxed here in Florida, and I'm also going to be taxed because I have enough business presence in Cali. So now I have to pay, I'm not even sure where you guys are at, 50, 60% in taxes just because of the way I'm set up now. And so I want you guys to know that, because you want to pick wisely, and then you want to make sure of not to do too much to get you over the line to create that taxable event. So when you're setting up your foreign entities, make sure that you're established right. Like, try not to do too much is what I'm saying. If you guys are kind of catching my flow here, trying to speak with code, so that way you guys aren't hit with taxes. So working with the banker is the other one. I touched on this a lot last week. So if you guys haven't checked that out, working with the banker, relationship manager. And so just make sure that you're treating these people right, because obviously they're trying to hit their numbers in the bank and you're trying to hit your numbers in your business. And so it's a two-way street. So with them, like I mentioned last week, they apply on your behalf. They can submit it to underwriting on your behalf. And if something comes back flagged, they'll let you know what it is. So on top of the EWS stuff that I shared with you guys earlier, you also get it here with them. Now, you want to ask for credit limit increases before activating accounts. So if you get like 2 or 3 business credit cards and you're like, man, you know, 20K, I thought I would get 30, 35. Ask for the limit increase before you activate any of the accounts. That right there alone could probably trigger an extra 5 to 7K bump. Not always, no guarantees, but it can trigger that. And you also save yourself a hard inquiry. It's like a little pro tip that I have for you guys. So using ChatGPT and AI for pretty much business planning, creating standard operating agreements, SOPs. Some people are using it for banks and credit unions, which I'm going to show you a little bit here of how you can use it to pretty much get some SBA loans, or at least help you get closer to getting an SBA loan, because I know that section was a little overwhelming. Marketing and content ideas, because it's all about the prompts. So it's ChatGPT right here. So, and by the way, this is free. Just create an account. I'm using the free account. This is the prompt that I would give it.
Oh my God.
I want you to advise me like an SBA consultant would. And then before I hit enter, I'm going to hit space. Please create an SBA compliant business plan that I can present to the bank for my insert business name, or insert business rather. Sorry, insert business. So this would be it right here. So the business that I inserted was my barbershop. And so this is what it spit back out. And so if you guys go to the SBA website, you would see that this is exactly how they would want a business plan laid out. And so it's pretty much creating it for you. You would pretty much like fill it in. Briefly introduce your barbershop business and summarize key points for your business plan. Okay, cool. If you don't know that, then you got bigger fish to fry, right? Include your business name, location, target market, unique selling proposition, and funding request. Okay, this is like how I would do it on the dime. Hey, or we have essentially Irv's Barbershop. Our location is we're located in Orlando, Florida. Our target market is Latino males between the ages of, I'm going to go college, 21 to 28. So we're located by UCF, University of Central Florida. Our unique selling proposition is that we give haircuts at a 50% student discount on Wednesdays for college students who pass their midterms, or for college students who are keeping above a 2.5 GPA, because we want to help the community. Now the SBA, by the way, this is on the dime. Like, I'm just figuring this stuff out with you in real time. And so now the SBA is seeing that and saying, okay, cool. They have an actual business. And so obviously the funding request would fall on the lines of, if we're going a 504, if we're going a microloan, if we're going with an express, or if we're going with like a bridge loan. How to get funding for multiple businesses. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is I want you to prioritize which business you want to get funding for properly. So what does that mean? Let's say that I have business number one, which is ABC. We're gonna do a little bit of thinking here, but I'll help us think it through, right? I'm tired with you guys. We'll think it through. LLC has been open and active since 2014. Business checking with bank since 2015. Tax returns filed each year. Consistent monthly cash flow. Low risk industry. Business 2, XYZ LLC. LLC open and active since the beginning of the year. No business checking account yet opened. No tax returns filed yet for the business entity. Little to no monthly cash flow. High risk industry. It made it really easy for us. Which business are we going to prioritize? Business 1 or business 2? Yes, it's a 1. The reason for that is because, as you guys see, it's far more established, has the tax returns, consistent monthly cash flow, obviously inside of our low risk industry, right? Kept it super simple because I wanted you guys to see the clear distinction. When you're grading, you kind of have like scorecards for your businesses. That's how I want you to think about it, so you know which ones to go with versus which ones not to go to. But when prioritizing it, like, you can screenshot this right here. This is essentially how you want to grade it. So I'll probably make a scorecard out of this for my program. I've been playing around with different scorecards of how banks would grade it. And so this would maybe make the final cut. But for the most part, this is going to work as just a strong shell for you to determine, okay, which one should I go with? So the age of the business. So ideally, if it's over 2 years old, that's already like a strong point. Business checking or savings account already open, another strong point. Regularly making deposits and transactions through the accounts. Remember, organic. I love the organic. If you're running a real business, then you have real expenses. So with real expenses, that means that you have actual organic spend. The business is consistently cash flowing. Account has at least 3K plus in it, and it's never overdrafted or negative. You guys already seen how detrimental that can be to your files when that happens. Operations of business is considered low risk. So obviously, you know, if it's consulting, if it's business management, if it's business not elsewhere classified, who else? If it's yeah, that's about it for like the main ones that you would use. So business not elsewhere classified, property management, and consulting are usually the 3 main that at least would cover this group right here that we're speaking with. And then all business information is clean and differentiated from personal. Now, there are thresholds and there are total credit exposures. And so threshold is the amount allowed the amount of credit allowed per business entity, while the total credit exposure is how much you can have for all the accounts. I'll break it down. The total threshold that you can typically have per bank is 150K before they start asking for and that's per bank, before they start asking for additional documents. So this is where it gets a little interesting, and this is where every bank kind of has their own rules. I'm going to stick with Chase for today because a lot of us understand Chase. We know Chase. And yeah, it's just one of those banks that most of us have access to in our areas. Let's say that I have LLC 1, our main LLC, and I have $50,000 on a business Inc. And then I have like another $150,000 between personal and business credit. I'm sorry, another $100,000 between personal and business credit. The total account that I have with Chase, I've now met my threshold with them. This is why sometimes if there's ever a time where you wonder, should I open an account? Should I close an account? This is how you kind of want to start thinking through this stuff. And this is where reallocation really matters. If you have that 150, that's going to be the total credit exposure that you have on that file. So if you open up another LLC thereafter, most likely that bank, since you're already overexposed specifically for your social and the account that you have with them, any other LLC that you bring going forward, they're going to ask for tax stocks. And so my suggestion would be try to use the business that you want to get the most funding for upfront first. So that way, when you hit that 150 threshold, sometimes it's 200, sometimes it's 225, giving you baseline, and they ask you for additional documentation, the business that actually has the tax returns that you can show when it's not going to be a stated doc, you can actually show it. Right? I can't tell you how many people run into that.
Yep.
Where they're like, damn, I'm not getting any credit anymore. Damn, now they're asking for docs. That's why. And two options. You can either A, close some accounts down, reallocate, close some accounts down, or B, just look at another bank. Because remember, thresholds and credit exposures are within banks. They're not within an entire system. So you're not going to get blocked in an entire system. It's just within that bank. So whatever happens in the Amex ecosystem is not going to happen over in the Chase. Whatever happens in Chase isn't affecting you over at US Bank and so on. And so you want to structure each round in advance, like I mentioned earlier. And so you want to have no more than 4 hard inquiries over the last 6 months. You want to know the type of funding that you're going for prior to applying. You want to prioritize your strongest entity. You want to build relationships out when you're in that window that you're kind of just waiting it out, right? 60 to 90 days minimum. Remember that little graph that I showed you guys earlier? When you're running a sequence, you kind of have like that pause break. Then you want to have a goal. Is it 50K? Is it 100K? Typically, clients that I speak to, Irv, if I can get myself my first 100K, I'll be happy.